Hey, my name is Nkosi Hospice and I am a vocal arranger. Arranger for the Afro pop vocal group Just Six from South Africa. And here I'm going to take you on a journey on understanding what comes with being a vocal arranger or what happens in the mind of a vocal arranger with this brand new series called The Journal of a Vocal Arranger. So come with me. So, one of the first things that come to mind to me as a vocal arranger, and one of the things that I feel like every vocal arranger should pay attention to first when approaching a vocal arrangement, is listening. So, lesson number one for me would be listen. And why do I say so? The biggest thing that I have observed when it comes to vocal arrangement is that either the arrangement sometimes doesn't particularly suit the kind of voices or, the style in which the song is arranged doesn't particularly bring out what you're trying to or what the message is supposed to be in the song. So it's very important to listen to different aspects of everything holistically when it comes to vocal arrangement. So let me give some examples. When I want to approach, let's say, a jazz kind of arrangement or approach to an arrangement, the first thing is to listen to the voices that I'm arranging for and the ability of the voices to understand, okay, what is the vocal range? Let's start with that. The vocal range of someone. Can someone reach certain notes or sing in a certain scale or place, just to keep it simple, where maybe the song is high for a long time, or maybe the song is too low, for bass singers. Maybe the song is too low for a long period of time or whatever. Can someone sustain that and be able to deliver it well enough to get the arrangement well put across? And also to think about if there are leads that are supposed to be taken in this piece or the song. What are the abilities of that lead? What are the abilities of the vocal? What are the abilities of the person? How do they think of approaching leads and all that stuff? And would they be able to give enough of themselves to the performance of that song to make it convincing as a jazz arrangement or whatever? So for me, it's very important to think about all those things first before approaching an arrangement, because you can belt out an amazing arrangement, but then when it comes to the application, it becomes a bit tricky, right? So in practicality, you would ask and think, okay, what do you listen to, Nkosi? And when I am doing an arrangement, particularly, let me talk, with some of my own experience with Just Six. When I'm doing an arrangement for Just Six, I will first of all look at, let's say, okay, how do I want to structure the parts? So basically, we are structured in a particular form that, if you follow us, you would know that my brother Mta is first tenor, Smokes is the second first tenor, and Fairs and Shakes are both second tenors. I am a baritone, Squara is the bass, right? And so within that structure, it is not always rigid within that. There are some times within arrangements where Smokes can go higher than Mta, or Shakes can go higher than Fairs. But even within that, to understand where to place people within voices is also a very important thing, because you look at the range, you look at the ability, you look at the comfortability of that range. You understand what I'm saying? So it's very important already from that perspective. And I think what informed us to line up our voices like that was that of thinking of it from a vocal arranging perspective. And it wasn't per se that the way that we line up from top to bottom in terms of the highest voice to the lowest voice is particularly our highest range, so to say, that because Mta sings first tenor, he's got the highest voice in the group. They are guys that can probably go higher than Mta in the group. He doesn't have. I wouldn't describe him as a natural first tenor, for example, but because he's got the kind of range that can last over a whole song and still give us a certain kind of tone and shape around our harmonic spectrum, that kind of makes it special. And because of that, we then made the decision that, okay, fine, he will sing first tenor. Because when my brother actually joined the group, he was a second tenor. So, for us to decide that no, okay, we're not going to look for a first tenor to replace the former first tenor of the group. We're just going to push him up to do the highest voice and get another second tenor. So all those things are, decisions that are informed by the sound spectrum that we experience when we are performing with each other, that we sing with each other. Shakes sings, let's say, the fourth lowest part in the group, but he can probably go as high as Smokes. There's some times where he'll be doing his guitar thing and he goes really high, much higher than you'd have ever thought that he can go. He can actually maintain and sing. He can actually sing first tenor, but because of how the sound needs to be, we found it fit that our voices blend best in this format. So that's a very important thing to establish when it comes to listening and approaching a vocal arrangement. If you want it to be effective for whoever you're going to be arranging for, understanding the voices that are involved so you can know where to place them, and being able to then understand where you can take the arrangement, because that's so important. So many people get lost in coming up with so many ideas and not considering where the ideas need to go and how these people need to interpret those ideas and be able to execute them well. Because most of the time you find that the problem that you'd have with most songs is not the arrangement, but is the execution. If the execution was better, if people could understand the arrangement better, if the arranger could have understood the vocals better, it would have had a different effect. So listening is number one. And I think I've just touched on just listening to the voices, listening out for the arrangement. But there's a lot of things that we can also encompass in the listening. You can also come to the kind of genre that you are looking to arrange the song for, If we're going for a more classical approach, you understand what the rules are for a classical arrangement to make a song sound classical in that way. If we're looking for a jazz arrangement, we understand what the rules of a jazz arrangement would be, because each and every kind of genre has its own rules that, make it what it is. So you need to identify your arrangement as much as you can with that. So you need to listen out for those things. Maybe in another video, I can break down on what I think are the important elements of each of these genres when you're approaching these different genres from an arranging point of view. But I think the most important thing is to understand that you cannot have the same approach to everything. So you need to listen out for that. If we're doing more of a pop kind of arrangement, we need to understand how to make it pop and move it out of a classical sound or a traditional gospel sound, or so that we can be as close as we can to the actual sound that we are gunning for. So it's really important to actually look out for that and listen. So it really goes back to that point of listening. So there's so many things that as I keep sharing this this knowledge, or this experience rather, that I say, that I have with you guys, that it comes out a bit more and more, in a bit more depth, in terms of what else to listen out for. But the general concept is, before starting on a vocal arrangement, just sit down and listen. Listen to the song. Listen to the group. Listen to the voices. If it's like a rearrangement of some sort, listen to the song that you are rearranging. Listen to, the emotion, the feel that it presented within itself, and try your best to communicate that same emotion, but in a different way, in your own way, that makes sense with what the messaging of the song is as well in any kind of space. So it's really important to look out for those things. So number one, listen. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please make sure you subscribe, smash that subscribe button, smash the notification button so that you can get notified every time I put out a new video. Thank you so much for the support. See you on the next one, yeah. The Journal of a Vocal Arranger with Nkosi Hospice.